Today we are going to work on literal equations again, except we're going to have to do more than one step in order to solve it. Let's look at 1a. 1a says solve the following equation for w. So, in order to solve it for w, the first thing I would do would be to do 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2w. Now to solve for w, you would say, oh, I'm just going to subtract 10. So 6 is equal to 2w. Finally, divide by 2 to get w is equal to 3. And that was all stuff we were doing with linear equations, because that's just a linear equation. 1b, on the other hand, is not a linear equation, and the reason is because it has more than one variable in it. Instead of just having the w, it has a p, an l, and a w. Right now, the formula that I gave you is for the perimeter of a rectangle. What we're going to do is we're going to solve it for w. So to solve for w, just like over here I subtracted 10 to start, I'm going to subtract 2l. So it would be p minus 2l is equal to 2w. And just like we did up here, we are going to divide by 2 to get w by itself. Well, we're going to divide by 2 here. So now we have w equals p minus 2l all over 2. And that's it. Let's try another example. So letter 2a. For letter 2a, we have 4 squared plus b squared equals 5 squared. To start by solving it, I'm going to figure out what these values are. 4 squared is 16. B squared I don't know. And 5 squared is 25. Oh, one thing here. It's supposed to be a plus. I made it an equal sign. Well, to solve for b, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 16. (25) minus 16 is equal to 9. Finally, to solve for b, I'm going to take the square root of both sides, just like we were doing with the area of squares before. We end up getting b is equal to 3. Now we'll work more with that in the future. I'm going to use the same procedure as I just did for this problem to solve 2b. And this time I'm going to solve for letter, oh, it says solve it for h, so let's solve it for b. That's my mistake there, so let's change that to a b. So to solve this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by subtracting the a squared, just like I subtracted the 16 earlier. Finally, just like I took the square root of b before, I'm going to take the square root for this one as well. And I end up getting, let me move this down a little bit, b is equal to the square root of c squared minus a squared. You can't simplify that any further. That's all it can be. Now, I know that one was a little more difficult. The next one I have below is not as difficult as number 2. I would like you again to please try it for me. And we will go over it again tomorrow in class.